welcome to Set Life. I'm Amber Buto, and this is
Kelly Leger.
And today we're in studio with a dear friend of the studios once again, Roy Ford. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, guys. I'm so glad and honored to be here.
Oh, thanks.
So honored to be here. This is going to be great.
Yes, so we met recently at the Pod Houston event, and you were the MC of the night.
Yes, first of all, I want to say this.
Okay.
I came to the studio after seeing all the photos, and I thought, this is really, really nice. And then the comfort is it's only 10 minutes from my house.
Hey.
Wow.
So I thought to myself, what a great opportunity to come and see a production studio like fully laid out. So it was an honor. It was great. And the podcast was, one of those things that I was helping out with a friend, and I didn't know Amber until I met you that night.
Yeah.
And we clicked immediately.
Yeah.
Like literally immediately. It was really cool.
It was really cool. And the event was great. You did phenomenal at emceeing, but rightfully so. You were in TV, you were in radio for many, many years.
Yes.
TV, talent. I mean, you've really sat in a lot of seats in this industry.
Yes. Too many.
Wow.
Too many. But, I try to make sure that whether you're on talent or crew, that I make everyone kind of feel, welcome wherever they are. So it's really cool.
I love that about him. That's so good, right?
It's beautiful.
It's like our heart right here.
Oh, yeah. Well, because there's just, unfortunately, that's too far and few between, the people that are like that. People can get into whatever. They get into their jobs and over time, and maybe they even start there, but they lose that over time. So it's nice to keep that, it's just too rare. I'll just say it that way.
Right.
It's nice to have that.
Right. And people often they'll get into these cliques of, oh, well, I'm a producer, actor, or crew.
Right.
Realize, and I, on my end, in my experience, this is me personally, I always realize that it takes a team.
Amen.
To create what we're creating, whether you're doing video, whether you're doing film, whether you're doing, even if you're doing something in a social media aspect, if you're making videos, there's somebody who's got to edit it, that may be you, but you're going to work with a team of people in order to create a big project.
And I think the thing is, it's easy to get in our lane, and it's good to be good at something and in your lane.
Oh, yeah.
And almost kind of become protective of your lane. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what you're doing. There's always some, I don't know how to say it, some bleed over into what you might have done before and maybe where you're going. And that's just how it is. And you got to be willing to do that because you're helping, you're going to help the different departments. So you're going to be in and out and in and out. You have your main thing. I'm a director, so I direct a lot. But I'm always working with, every department. So I'm just stepping in, I have things that I am, that I'm doing. I'm not just no, I'm sitting in front of my monitor and, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And I think, there's a difference between a job description, job title, what you're supposed to do, and then just being a good person.
Right.
Totally.
Okay. So we're talking about being a good human in life and being kind to everybody and honoring to everybody, minus the job title, minus, what your billet is, what you're supposed to be doing on set. I mean, I think everything works better with community and partnerships and collaboration, and that's how we make this happen. Every single time we shoot, it's a crew of 10 plus people all doing their job, but we have fun when we do it. We're all like a family around here. We all help each other however we can. It doesn't matter. There's not a job, in most businesses there's a ranking, right? There's some kind of PAs, how you get in, and then directors, you do all that. But around here, we're all just the same team. Right. And we want to see somebody that's coming into the industry, rise up and do better. So how do we pour into them? How do we teach them? How do we show them hey, come. So I love that on our team, we have that same heart and how we really want to help collaborate with each other. We have a lot of really good people here too that love to teach, which is so great.
And no one told me when I walked in you can't talk to Amber. You can't talk to her. You know, no one said that.
Yeah.
You can't look at her. You know,
Yeah.
when I walked in, everyone was on the same level. Everyone was enjoying themselves. You know, everyone was having a good time setting up. We were cracking jokes even before we started. So you felt that family aspect as soon as I walked in the door.
Yeah, there's a way to, there's a way to not be a jerk and do this thing, like
true.
I get it, like needing like certain things to do your job well, but it doesn't mean you step all over the people who don't know any better. Like I do a lot of speaking, and whatnot. And so there'll be certain times where I kind of gotta get my mind in the game. So it's not good for me to talk about the weather or the ball game. I really got to think about what I'm doing. But if somebody doesn't know that world, they'll come up to you last minute and just talk about whatever, and because they've never met you and they want to talk about whatever. And so you got to be real gracious. And if you know you need that space before you do it, the better thing to do is to go separate yourself. Put yourself in a position where you don't have to be a jerk to somebody else to get in your space or whatever. Like you have to have done it long enough to know a better way to do it.
And I just think there's a kind way of doing that too. I mean, everybody is super understanding.
Totally.
They really are. If you're like, I'm so sorry, I'm trying to prepare. I want to catch up with you, but can we do that right after? Come find me.
Yes.
I mean, there's
kindness goes a long way.
It does. And being able to just know that is a really good thing to plan ahead. Know that in your role of whatever that role may be. You know.
That's
so
true. That's true.
I love we're talking about this. This is one of I know it's close to both of our hearts here at the studio, and I
really
love that it's close to yours. But okay, let's go back a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
So everybody fills out a form when they come to be on, and we get to learn about you a little bit. And I love that. And I love the fact that you knew, like most of our guests, early on, that you love this industry, that you love the entertainment industry, you loved photography, television, and all of that. So let the audience know, where did that start for you?
I was very young. So I started in photography as a child. And my mom gave me my first camera and said, here, go do things, because, at the time we didn't have a lot of money. And, when I was being raised, my brother, who was older, had a full baby book of photos. And I said, Mom, how come I'm the baby? I should have some photos. She goes, did you want some photos or did you want to eat? And I said, I like eat.
Mom already.
I'd rather eat, Mom. I'd rather eat. But she gave me a camera. And from then on, I was just taking pictures and taking photos. Even, gosh, this dates me a little bit, but we had the cameras that had the cube flash on the top that would spin, and it would take a picture. And I was like, oh, that's so remarkable. It's a little mechanical camera. So I started out in photography, got into my high school yearbook, high school newspaper, and won a contest being one of those, it was an honorable mention, but I was just like, wow, I got an honorable mention for my picture of a tree. And that's where it lit the fire of being creative and using photography. And, along came Photoshop, and along came using the computer to do editing. And that's where the bug bit me in high school and junior high is where I started out with my love for photography. And we're in the darkroom of those days. It was all on film. So you had to go to Fox Photo to get your photos developed, or, whatever. When the digital age came, I was in college. And I was working for the local newspaper, and I was on air because I wanted to get into broadcasting. I found it so entertaining. So in college, I was doing that as well. Not only was I working in radio, I started working at a country radio station. Look at me, okay? Country, right? I always saw myself as either pop music or dance music, but country radio was my intro. So I was playing Reba McEntire, and I'm going to say this, and please don't make fun of me. My on-air name at the country radio station.
Drum roll. This is going to be great. This is going to be good.
Already too good.
It is already too good. So I said, I'm never going to use this name again, but I'm going to share it with everyone listening and watching at home. Buck Trevor.
All right.
On K-Star Country.
Hey.
Yeehaw.
I'm here with Buck Trevor on K-Star Country right now. Here comes Reba McEntire.
K-Star, 103 boys of Texas Country. It's Buck Trevor. And sometimes I put the M in front of it for no other reason. Because Buck Trevor, but Buck Trevor. My mom loved it. She still loves it to this day. She's like, when are you going to go back on country radio? I'm like, Mom, I'm in video production now.
You're like, never.
Never. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
My God, this is classic. This is so good.
So yes, country radio for 2 years, right? And so it was so funny. The listeners would call in, they would laugh and joke. And then I was in Conroe, Texas, and we had a parade. I went to the parade. Half the audience was like, "What? He's black?" And then they had the black cowboy group. They came and they saw me because they listen to K-Star all the time. Buck Trevor is black.
Oh my
God! They were all excited too. I was just like, "Hey, everybody, I'm Buck Trevor." You know?
That's so good.
It was nothing but love. The whole parade. It was the best thing ever. And
I
was a little college student trying to make my way into broadcasting. And it was fun. That's how I started. That's the beginnings.
Wow.
So if I'm not mistaken,
right.
I think K-Star is like a few blocks from my house now. I'm up there on Lake Conroe.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I worked there.
Get out of here.
Yes, I did.
That is awesome.
In college, young, just wide-eyed, not sure what's happening.
Oh my God.
That's how I got started.
But you must have done really well to stay on for years.
Yes, stayed on for 2 years there. And then I started an internship here in Houston with the Top 40 radio station, the local Top 40 radio station, 104 KRBE.
Oh, yeah.
And
Get out of here.
so I worked there with an internship. Eventually, because I'd been on the air, the program director, the assistant program director was like, "Hey, you should be, try it out. Let's see how it goes." So 3 o'clock in the morning, there I was on air at a major market radio station going, "Oh, hey guys, hi, I don't know what to do." But it was
you didn't do the hey guys.
I'm Buck Trevor.
Wasn't that like the Sam Malone days back?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So Sam Malone, Maria Todd were doing morning shows.
Yeah.
And I'd ended up being a weekend air talent for, was it 10 years?
Wow.
At KRBE, up until 2006 when I made the transition into video production.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think the key was to coming in as an intern and then being on air? I think this is the transitional pivotal point that most people miss that.
Right.
What was that for you?
Oh my goodness. It was, I did a lot of relationship building in the process. And I know you guys were talking about, being kind and people relationships, good people skills, all of those sort of things.
Yeah.
With me, I always made sure that I was, on time, all of the things that everyone tells you to do. Be on time, work hard, be the first there, last to leave, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I made sure I built good relationships in the process. So as an intern, I made sure that, one, I knew everyone and worked hard. But the other side of that was just being kind.
Yeah.
I want to say my mentor there, he was the production director, Donnie Marion. He's retired now. And he told me something. He said, "Roy," he talks like that because he worked at a country radio station here locally. "Roy," I was like, "Why are you in Top 40 radio?"
Roy's like, what?
Yes.
That's going to be all day. You're
All
gonna
day.
hear
Yeah.
Buck Trevor. He told me this. He said, "Roy, I want you to take every opportunity to get on the mic that you can." Because I was really considering stopping doing college radio during my internship because I had one more year left. And I was like, I'll just focus on working in major market radio. He said, every opportunity you get, make sure you do that. So he was a great mentor for me.
That's so good.
And so I continued to work at the college radio station while I was working at the major market radio station. So it's the, what's the term? At bats. So the more time I got to perfect my craft, and I encourage people to do this, is to whatever craft it is if it's photography, if it's video, if it's acting, if it's whatever it is, if you're a marketing consultant or if you're really good at social media, work on your craft in any opportunity, whether you're getting paid or not paid. Like I was not getting paid at the college radio station to be on the air on weekends.
But what it paid you in dividends moving forward was the value of that.
Yes.
And I think two things. That, one, that you saw to invest in yourself, which is every opportunity that you can get to do the craft. There's not a lot of opportunities in this industry.
Right.
So you take everyone you can.
Yes.
Because it only allows you to get better and better and better, which that's the value of,
Yes.
investing in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I know you said that it's, like everybody knows already, but I'm going to say everybody may have heard it but doesn't do it. Show up early and be the last one to leave. There's a lot of people come 5 o'clock, they're counting down. 4:50, they're already packed up, like looking around like, how much longer until I can get out of here? How much longer until I can get out of here?
Yes.
Don't think that the uppers don't notice that.
Yeah.
They won't invest in that at all.
No,
that's true.
Nor if you're like late, not showing up, not investing that either,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't count on it. If you're entry level coming in and you're not willing to put in the extra, you'll never get there. You'll never get to the success. You'll never get to the end goal with that mentality.
Right.
It's more about the mentality than it is, oh, they're going to take advantage of me, or I can't do this. It's showing that, okay, I can keep giving you more responsibility because of the mentality that you have to invest in this, show time in this. And so I think that needs to be said more now than ever.
And I'll say this, my internship was non-paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was working in major market radio, not getting paid, and I was doing an air shift, not getting paid.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was also working to get paid by working at the local college city newspaper there in Huntsville, Texas.
Yeah.
So I was one of the runner photographers. I get a little $100 check every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just living on the grace of God and, and beans and cornbread and mom's cooking,
Right.
Yeah.
And dad would give me, whatever he had, because he was working as a principal and my mom was working too. They were all working.
Yeah.
And so I was just, and I'll say this, it's like, it was a blessing that I had the circumstances that I did.
Yep.
But like you said, you had to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You really had to put in the work. And I wasn't getting paid until I was actually, on air.
Yep. But that hard work and dedication got you to a paid position in it.
Yes, it did.
And
it did.
I mean, I think there's a flip side to this. I mean, you can't, I think in this industry, a lot of people are taking advantage of. So there is that side of the business, but that's in everything.
Yes.
But I like to speak to the ones that if you really are willing to put in the work, you end up you end up making this a career.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You find a way to make it a career.
And there are so many examples of friends that I have that do the same thing. I've seen them start out in promotions, got into being on the air as a sidekick. And then the next thing you know, they're coming back and being the morning show host.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it.
And you can I know over my career, we can probably all say this in whatever field we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
You notice somebody and you're like, they're going to go far.
Yep.
Yes.
And because there's some specific things that are underscored in their lives that are unlike all the other worker bees in whatever said industry. You can decide to be just the worker bee.
Right.
Your entire career and whatever you're doing. Excuse me. I mean, you can do the whole punch in, punch out. That's all you're thinking about. You're living for the weekend. I was talking to a guy the other day. I'm like, bro, you are living for the weekend. That's all you do is live for the weekend. Do you know how that means? You only get 2 days out of every week. You know how many days you get in a whole year? Not a lot. You got about a third of the year. So you're not living every day.
Not living.
You're not living.
Yeah.
And so it's like be that kind of person that the uppers, as it were, who are around you say they're going to go far. Because like you said, you look back at all those guys and they're doing things. Yes. They're doing things because there were some marked characteristics.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
About how all that works.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I mean, hard work, I like to say core characteristic traits will never change in time. I don't care how much technology we get. I don't care the time evolution of how things go.
Right.
Core characteristics don't change. Integrity will never change. Hard work will never change. Believing in yourself and confidence will never change. Being kind will never change. Yes. Some of those core things, minus what industry it is or whatnot. I mean, this show happens to be about the entertainment industry, and this show is to shine a bright light on the industry and highlight people who have not come from the best of circumstances, right? There's a lot of, I can hear how there could have been a lot of excuses in your story.
Yes.
But instead of making those excuses, you stood on them and made them triumphs, right? And was like, no, I'm going to get as many opportunities as I can. I'm going to hustle and work as hard as I can because I believe I have a place at the table in this industry to make this a career.
Right. And the thing about it is, the side of Houston that I was raised on was on the east side of town. And so back in the 80s and 90s, it was pretty flourishing. But you look to today, most of that side of town is, either, a lot of domestic problems there, a lot of domestic violence, common violence, robberies, and that sort of thing. So I could have followed on that same trade. Just because of the side of town and the influence that I was under.
Yes.
But, thank God, a lot of prayer and a lot of, dedication went into it, where I said, okay, I'm not going to follow that path. I'm going to make sure that, one, I'm kind, I'm respecting people. And I saw in my dad how he always respected people and built people up and encouraged them. So,
That's great. Yeah. That's so good.
There's like, that's just like, and you're one of literally thousands of stories who have not let a very specific atmosphere, situation, hold them down.
Yeah.
No, we really are. We're without excuses. Like, we actually do a lot of traveling around the world and do a lot of missions work in third world nations.
Right.
And we're in some desperate places. And even in the middle of those, I'm constantly meeting people who came out of like the poorest of the poorest of the poorest. Here in America, there would be the richest kind of thing. And they have come out of that, and now they're doctors, and they're lawyers, and they're business. There are all these things. So it's really not about atmosphere. There's things that you can control, and there's things you can't control. And you can't control who you're born to, where you were born, all of those things.
Right.
And it's not like God didn't know where he was going to put you. So inside of you, is everything you need to do everything you're going to need to do in life. He didn't do it to hold you down. So just saying, there is a way, there's a path for everybody to be, be encouraged by that there'll be mentors around you. There'll be people, there'll be, the work will get you there. You don't have to stay, wherever you are,
That's another thing about your story that I really love is you had a mentor.
Yes.
And we are big, advocates of finding a mentor, finding somebody that you can collaborate that maybe is a few strides ahead of you, that's willing to help. That's why I love all of our team here. They are so good at that. I mean, from Dan to Shy to Kelly to Hosanna to all of them will, take somebody underneath their wing. They're like, yeah, come along.
Right.
Come along.
Yes.
Come hang out with us. Let me show you. Let me teach you. We have an intern program here that pours into that. Same thing like you were.
Yes.
Because, I think when we all do well, all ties rise, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of influencing and helping everybody. What do you think has been your most impactful moment through your mentorship that you took away at that age? When I'm sure you had multiple mentors, but what was one of the most impactful things?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I look back to my high school journalism teacher.
Wow.
Her name was Coach Kathy Bottoms. She was the tennis coach as well as the journalism teacher. Okay. Yes, I said Bottoms. I'm sorry.
Kathy Bottoms.
She's amazing, though, by the way.
Yeah.
We always, Mrs. Bottoms.
Yeah, that's what we always called her, Coach.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes.
But, Coach Bottoms would be, we'd say that. But she was the one who saw the personality in me that I didn't see, the character. And she helped draw that out in high school. I want to say my sophomore year, because freshman year I wasn't sure whether I wanted to, go into computers or go into production or film or anything. But she saw the personality in me. And she said, you got a little bit of character in you, and she helped draw that, so by my senior year, I was, frontline center on the yearbook photographer team. And high school, I was the editor for the paper, and I'd write copy, and, I'd do editorials.
Wow.
And then we had, all these little events and things that we would do. And so she saw that personality in me, and she began to feed into that. Wow. And so I advocate mentorship, internships.
Yeah.
When I got into my career in video production, that was something that I said, I've got to do this. And so I worked with the local high school, and we would always have a team coming in to help whether we're doing an on-site production, or I'd go to the school and help them set up their studio and show them and mentor them, and even bring a production in for them to actually shoot. So it was a great opportunity. And even when I was working in radio, I had interns.
Yeah.
So I so believe on, finding the best characteristics of the intern, the same way that Coach found that best character in me. She found my strengths and said, okay, harness these.
And so I'll just have to say, help people out.
Right.
Don't be a butt.
Yeah.
Be a bottom.
Oh, no.
Coach Bottom's going to love that.
Oh, no. Yes.
She's alive and well, traveling all over the world, retired, and taking photos still. She's a photographer. So
that's so great.
Yeah.
We've heard quite a few stories that have had high school teachers
that
have really poured into students that have gone on to do really great things like yourself, that have really made it in the industry. And when we ask this question, if they say they've had a mentor, they've come back and said, thanks to their mom.
Yeah, thanks to mom.
Thanks to mom.
Yeah.
And thanks to a high school teacher, even though they're, you've been on radio at the highest levels, you've been national, you've done all these great things in the industry.
Right.
And it's amazing to me, you go back to your high school teacher to say, this person believed in me, this person put me on the trajectory of my successes that I have today. Yeah. And how influential our teachers are in our lives, and especially older now, but how we have an influence on the next generation. How we can, as we sit in the roles that we have, really reach backwards and say, I see this in you, I believe in you, keep fostering that. And that's how we raise up to change industries and cultures and all kinds of things, when we can reach back and be kind and do the same mentorship backwards.
That's my whole thing, is encouraging. My whole thing is encourage someone. My whole, all of my merch, all of my YouTube channel, everything is encourage, whether it's encouraging you to jump on, and get into our field of entertainment, or encouraging you to step out and become, that God-given gift or talent that you have. Encourage, because there's a lot of things out in the world where you're not getting that encouragement.
Amen.
So be an encouragement to other people. So,
that's good. How do you, so in practice, what's that look like? What's it look like when you're working with a fellow actor, or maybe you're directing, or what does it look like in the different facets of what you do in practice? How do you?
I know I did this actually on a short film project that I had to do. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. So the crew knew exactly what they needed to do, but I didn't have a budget to really bring on these star actors.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let's do auditions. And so I did locally, right here in the area. I brought in auditions. I had this sweet girl to come in and play an 11-year-old daughter. I did auditions for the lead role. It turned out that my best friend was the guy who could play the role better. I guess I wrote it for him, not sure why, but he auditioned too. Right? I didn't just give him the role. Like, you got to audition, Once we got into rehearsals, that's where the real work began. I had to encourage them to say, okay, get off page. Give me a little bit of something off the page. How would this character react? And they're like, well, I don't know. I was like, you have what the character has. That's why you got the role.
Yeah.
I said, you already have it. Go ahead and perform it. Just come off the page. What would this character say? What would Michael say? And it was so rewarding to see, not only my best friend and a couple of the castmates get into the role so well. I was just like, oh, this is really good. All I had to do was encourage him with whatever that gift was already in them. They just needed someone to see it because they couldn't see it.
And I can relate to a lot of that as a director. A lot of times, if we've done our jobs, as a director, pulling that out of people or getting them in the headspace they need to be in that character, a lot of times, the first take or two that we do is the best take.
Yes.
Because it came right out of there. After that, it can get a little bit more rehearsed and a little bit more, here's what I'm supposed to do, going through the motions to get your coverage with your cameras. But those first ones are like the most authentic.
Oh,
Say it like that. It comes out of the, so that's cool. That's great.
Yes,
that's what Steven Spielberg says, that he doesn't let them rehearse.
Right.
He doesn't let any of his talents rehearse on his film sets because he wants it to be the most authentic version encounter that it can be when they step on set, you know, to do it, to encounter the whole thing. So I just love how you, we say around here a lot too, that God-given gift and talent that's in you.
Right.
Because I believe we all have that. Every single one of us have that in us. And they say that your strengths, that you can't see your own strength because it's just the way you see and it's so close to you that you need somebody else to point out your strengths. I mean, if somebody's walking around saying they're really, really good at something all the time.
Yes.
But
You're like,
maybe need someone else to tell you that.
A little self-conscious. What's going on there?
Yeah, something's... But to be able to call forth that in somebody else is just such a great thing. I mean, if we had more of you in this world, what a better place it would be. You know, so thanks for being that encourager.
Oh, you have to be. I feel it so much. And even in my career, you know, when I made the jump from radio broadcasting to video production, it was scary because I wasn't used to being in front of the camera. You know, I was used to, you know, here's a microphone. Let me be Buck Trevor. You know, you know, that's what I was used to being. And being a photographer, you're always on the opposite side of the lens. But I was working in radio, and one of the morning show guys came to me and said, he looked at me and he said, "You got the face for television." And I went, coming from a radio guy who's doing the morning show, was him seeing something in me that I'd never seen. You know, I was just like, you know, whatever, you know, doing radio. I've been doing radio. He says, you have a face, you have that personality and everything for television or video or being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And so that was the seed that was planted for me to make my way into video production, into directing, you know, and into, you know, acting and voice acting, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, what is, and I'm like, I know we're running shorter on time, but what's next for you, Roy? What's next in Roy Ford's life?
Right now, I've been really jumping on board of getting my YouTube channel to a place where I can encourage more entertainment, more businesses, more people to get into production. So creating content has been my passion for the last 2.5 years, where I'm encouraging people to go, okay, get into production. So my YouTube channel, my website, everything is directed towards encouragement. So if you find my YouTube channel, Roy S. Ford, it's very easy to find. Just type in Roy S. Ford, Ford like the truck. You'll find my YouTube channel, and there are plenty of videos. There's a whole playlist of videos on there that encourage you to create content, that encourage you, you know, from a business owner to being an entertainment talent, or, you know, because I see a lot of actors kind of shying away from, you know, creating content. I'm like, dude, I've made all the short films in my life. Go ahead. That's your jumping off ground. You know, I've made all the videos. I've made, you know, that's your jump. And in today's, in today's technology, you can start with your smartphone.
Totally.
You're good. So that's my biggest thing right now is encouraging, no matter if you're like me in my age or younger, you know, or older. I have my mom on there making cooking magazines, and she's cooking food and everything, and everyone keeps, those are my most watched videos, right? Those are my most monetized videos too. So no matter what age you are, you know, take an opportunity to not only plant a seed to encourage them to create content, but to bring out the best qualities in them.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. Okay, tell us your YouTube channel once again and your website.
Okay, I sure will. The YouTube channel, Roy S. Ford. Can't miss it. Just type that in, and you'll find my page right there on YouTube. My website, roysford.com.
Perfect.
So you can go there and you can find them, and all my socials are under Roy S. Ford. You know, so if you're looking for me on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Did I name them all? I think I did.
Did you say LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's so many now. We're never going to remember all of them. And new ones
but
popping up every day.
Yeah, you can find them all right there. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, perfect.
Well,
just encouraging you to create, encouraging you to be the best person you can be. And, you know, on my channel, we meet people. And it's more of what do you call it? A journey, because it's vlog style.
Okay.
But you'll find information there. We break down equipment. We break down some of the easier ways to get into the industry. And when you're ready, you can come to For the One Studio and do it really good.
Hey.
Yeah. I like that. So. Well, this has just been so great. Thanks
I love it.
for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you for the invitation. This has been good. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
What a great conversation. It's so dear to our heart here to be an encourager. So, Kelly, it's been fun.
It has been fun.
Yes.
Kelly Lachey.
I had to give you one more chance, Kelly. I had to give you one more chance to do that.
Kelly Lachey.
I knew it was coming. So, y'all, thanks for tuning in. And until then, we'll see you on Set Life.